Alright, Seth Joyner here. This is the second video to my tail lamp install on my Porsche 911. In the last video I went through just some of the generalities of these tail lamps, you know, polishing the chrome, cleaning them up and whatnot. Okay, now I'm going to get into the specifics of the lens install, because the lens install in itself is, you know, 9/10 of the job. That's what people are going to see. Okay, so this is the methodology that that the lens is removed from the factory unit. Okay, basically what you're just going to do is you have these two rivet sleeves that you have to drill out. Okay, so drill those guys out. All right, and then these lenses from the factory back in 1968, it appears that they were hot gluing them in, okay, in a really precise way. All right, we do not exactly have that modern option. Okay, how they did that, I don't know, but I do have a trick for it and the way that I'm going to make these watertight my way. All right, so these lamp bodies, they're going to get a lot of deterioration inside into the inner cavities, the reflectors and whatnot. All you need to do is just use some common steel wool and you know, get all this flaking out and everything. And you're going to use a real high reflective mirror silver spray paint, because nothing's going to get in there to deteriorate the paint. So this is what I use. It's called Spaz Stix, S-P-A-Z-S-T-I-X. It's their ultimate mirror chrome. This is a super small can. It's very expensive. You're not going to be able to find this in any stores locally. You'll have to get it online. Like I said, our RC car guys use that. If you have a place that sells those type of products where you live, check them out. It should be common. The guys that are really into that stuff, they should know about it. All right, so when you get a new reproduction lens, you just simply get the lens like this, okay? And the removal of it, you know, you're going to grind off the back tabs, which are those little guys right there. You can see these little tabs. You grind all those off, and then you're going to use a heat gun, and you're going to heat up the outer perimeter of the bezel. Okay, what this is going to do is it's going to release the, it's going to loosen up the hot glue to release the lens. All right. Now, the method that you're going to go about actually removing the lens, I don't have a screwdriver, just use this flat file for instance. You'll insert the screwdriver, make sure that you obviously remove your bulbs. You'll insert the screwdriver between the base of the body and the bottom of the lens, all right? And then just attempt to just gently twist in a counterclockwise fashion. Now, make sure that this lens is relatively hot. I mean, you need to have this thing barely hot enough that you can touch it. And that's the only way that it's going to come out. If you wait, you know, 20-30 seconds after you heat this thing up, it's not going to work. Hair dryer, not a chance. All right, you need a real heat gun. Okay, then insert your screwdriver into the next port. Go ahead and do a twisty. Same thing, counterclockwise. And more than likely that should loosen up the lens completely. My first lens, I kind of destroyed it removing it, but it had a lot of stress fractures throughout. This one came out relatively easy. I was happy about that. So after you've spray painted the body and you've polished up the chrome bezel, now this is the tricky part. This is what people are going to want to know. All right, how do you glue the lens into this body and you make it watertight? Like, how are you going to do that? Okay, this is mine. All right, you don't see any glue residue on the outside of my lens. Okay. That stuff is ugly, nobody wants to see it, and nobody wants to see it on a super expensive car. Alright, so we don't have this option. Like, I'm not that precise, I don't think you are, I don't think anyone is, to be able to do that. I mean, granted, there probably was a guy in Porsche in 1968 that more than likely was that precise, but I'm going to tell you right now, those guys go to work at 18 and they will die as a Porsche factory man. You know, that's their life, they love that stuff. So, this lens, the way that I went about installing it was I used hot glue, okay? Now, I didn't put the hot glue on the new lens, okay? What I did was I ran the hot glue in the inside body of the lamp, All right, now I'm gonna have to get this real close because I know somebody's really gonna want to see this. All right, the way that you do it is you run that hot glue. Now, you know, you're gonna be doing a lot of hot gluing this whole thing. It's gonna be full seam, so, you know, of course it's gonna dry, it's gonna cool, that's fine. Okay, this is just step one of the process. So you're gonna go ahead and run that hot glue throughout between all the tabs, okay, on the inside, all right, all the way around through here. Now specifically here, you're going to want to run it up on the inside, all right, so that it's not visible through the lens. Then through here, all the way around, all right, same thing right up in there. All right, now once you've done that, you're going to, best way that I can describe doing it is to sit Indian style, and because you're going to get this thing really hot with a heat gun, okay? So this is how I did it, all right? I sat just like this, and I wedged it between my my shoes here, all right? And I got out my heat gun. Now I've already got all this residual hot glue in there, right? So, and you be very careful when you're doing it. Do a clean job. You can't do anything messy. This is all precision stuff. So you go ahead and you heat this thing up. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to get this very, very hot. When I say very hot, the reason that I'm holding up my shoes, you can't touch it with your hands, okay? So it needs to be literally that hot. And the reason is that, you know, hot glue cools extremely quickly. So that being said, we've got a nice aluminum body, but aluminum dissipates heat rather quickly as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat up the body of this, and basically we're utilizing the temperature of the body itself to retain the glue's ability to, you know, basically sit the lens back in there. Okay, so all right, you're going to heat gun that thing up. Now when you go to drop this lens in, you've got approximately 20 to 25 seconds maximum setting time, okay? And that's when you're going to set that lens in there, okay? Now you're going to have to hold it. Now the holding time for the cooling process is approximately, you know, a minute and 30 seconds, maybe almost 2 minutes. I'll go the extra mile. I just want to make sure that when I let my hands off of it and release, it's on there, okay? Another thing to take into consideration is that the other way that this is held in is that these plastic tabs that come through the body, from the factory, they just simply melt them. If you're going to do yours like that, you can. You just use like a simple soldering iron or something of that nature. I chose not to on mine. As you can see, I used some dabs of hot glue, okay? The reason I did that is because whenever I put a car together, if I have an issue with something, let's say that I put this tail lamp together and it rains and I get some fog and it gets foggy. Well, that means I didn't seal it correctly, okay? Well, what are you going to do if you've already melted all of your back plastic tabs? I mean, you're going to be kind of SOL. So this way I could actually literally heat up the lens again, and more than likely I would just have to pull it and push it back in. But I could heat up the lens again, the hot glue will activate, I'll be able to pull the lens out, and I'm great, okay? So whenever you're putting together a car like this, or any car, try and make sure that everything that you do, you can undo it if you need to for some strange reason, okay? I think that pretty much wraps up what I was trying to get at with the lens install. My next video, I'm going to describe actually installing the tail lamp itself, and a bumper seal and some quarter glass seals and things like that. I'm trying to think if there was one more thing I wanted to let you guys know about. I think that pretty much wraps it up. So thank you for watching, and you can put anything in the comment section if you've got questions. I'll absolutely answer them. All right, thank you.